All right, welcome to the Final Siren with Duck and our special number one fill-in man, Brodie. Brodie, how are you, mate?
Good, mate. It's great to be here. Wow, some frustrating viewing, but the 4 points are in the bank.
My lord, mate. Let's just say the boys kicked straight for Starlight in that last quarter. What a last quarter, mate. 6 goals in the last quarter, and haven't we been crying out for that for a long time?
We're crying it out for 3 quarters there. You've got the total figure for Starlight tonight.
Yeah, so what news, mate? Before I read out the figure, which actually I'll read it out, $448,699 raised by Fremantle supporters, I guess, and everyone involved in Starlight. And what a fantastic effort that is, mate. Let me take you down memory lane, mate.
Let's do it.
Circa 2004, big old Duck here was rolling around PMH, mate, as a massive unit like this as well. And, mate, Dockers players actually came in and visited me and were like, hey, mate, how are you? And I was like, whoa, like, as a guy from, at that time I was in Albany, but a Tamworth boy who was like a massive Dockers fan. Mate, tell you what, did it lift my spirits? But it's now at Perth Children's Hospital, isn't it? It's no longer PMH.
Yeah, and the boys have spoken about how the COVID-affected years over the last couple of years, they haven't been able to do those hospital visits, but boy, they love to do it. And the fans and the community, they all turned out tonight, and those goal pledges really drove the tally up.
Oh, mate, I tell you what. If it wasn't for that last quarter, we might have been a little bit shy. But great work in that last quarter, kicking 6 goals.
100%.
Mate, I brought my coins along. No coin. I had no one to give me coins.
Couldn't find a tin rattler outside,
Couldn't find a tin rattler. I reckon we should have one tin rattler just to get those old timers like me, mate, with coins. Now I've got all these coins in my pocket. I'm walking around jingling and jangling.
I'll make sure they get to the right people.
Well, that's good, mate. I love the Starlight Foundation, mate. Can we? Sorry, before we talk about the game.
Yeah.
The jersey, mate.
Yes.
Elite.
Gold, do you love it?
Gold pipes, mate. Oh!
We've been sitting on that for a little while. It's a lovely Guernsey. We're big fans. The 19 stars in the chevron, the 20th star in the middle for the 20th year. It's a pretty good kit, isn't it?
Mate, how good is that? And I actually saw some people rolling around in it. It's I've got a Utah Jazz away jersey, Karl Malone. That's very similar, purple and gold, and they really do go to a bit of Lakers about it. You know what I mean? But I love the gold with the purple, mate. It actually, I assume this is going to be a staple, mate. We just keep rolling out, or will there be new designs? Maybe.
Hope so yeah, they could be in the works. I'm not entirely sure, but it was pretty nice to see out there, wasn't it? It was lovely,
yeah, mate. And talking about a star, mate. How about the future being so bright, mate? I know it's a nighttime game, but I nearly had to put my shades on. Some of these young fellas running around with us today. Mate, I want to start with one guy, Noddy O'Driscoll, because firstly, every time he touched the ball, there was some of his cheer squad over near me really giving it, which was great.
The AFLW girls out in force tonight. There was a whole contingent of them there. They were very loud, particularly when Nathan kicks a goal. Bit of conjecture about whether Emma or Nathan is the better goal celebrator, but he was awesome tonight.
Yeah, 20 disposals, 2 goals too. Played his career best game according to AFL rankings, which I always like to have a look at. But, mate, he's an AFL player. He's like, oh, there's one.
He belongs, doesn't he?
Oh, yeah, he's going to play in the wing for the next 15 years. He might roll into the guts. He can kick a goal. And you're just like, oh, hang on. Hey, we've got a guy, local product, red legs player. You know, he played league when he was still a Coulter age. From all the reports, I've got a couple of mates that work down at Perth. He was the best kid down there. Always wanted to learn, always, coachable. And he just looks like an absolute jet, mate.
He's fun to watch, flying up and down that wing. What's he kick? 4 goals in 2 and a bit games?
Yeah.
Is that what it is? He just looks incredible. That left boot. We did see that moment after that first goal, kiss up to the sky. That's for his nana who passed away earlier this week. So we're thinking of the O'Driscoll family, but what a moment for him and his family. And boy, he is good to watch.
Mate, he played a absolute ripper game, Noddy. And a little bit of a spooky unit by all reports, according to AP, said he was the weirdest unit at the club.
Yeah.
Took a break. Tabs no longer.
Got a break there, didn't he?
Tabs no longer. But hey, look, Heath Chapman.
I was hoping you'd bring him up next.
Mate, now, about maybe even 10 years ago now, Pav was mic'd up. And he said, boys, it's time to put on the cape. It's Wharfie time. But Heath Chapman, like Superman, mate, Chappie is so good. He is like, you're like, oh my God, we have drafted an absolute gun here. He doesn't lose contests.
Yeah.
He that random smother thing he did on Bobby Hill down here in the pocket. Like he takes marks, he takes the game on. Mate, he had 24 disposals and he absolutely dominated across the half-back flank. Yeah. And like, I think him, like with Young, that whole back six. The whole back six. Like, Griffin Logue started off and I was like, oh, man. Logue came in. I was like, oh, couple of Logue. But then he ended up playing really well.
Yeah. He finished really strong late, particularly. But watching Heath Chapman, Hayden Young, that drive off half-back is something else. And like you said, the thing that stood out to me was just his contest work. Contest to contest. He gets knocked down, he gets straight back up, and then impacts the next play.
Mate, it's unbelievable. And look, two bits, like, midfield to midfield, we were like, oh man, this is a little bit of a tough game, but we dominated the game between the arcs, and it was mainly our back line that really just dominated. Like, you know, Jesse Hogan kicks those 2 goals in the first quarter, and it's like, we're in a bit of trouble here. But then the back line really held strong. Now, if you look at some of the goals they conceded from throw-ins and things like that, backline can't do anything about that. That's more midfield in the structure there. Yeah. And like Tom Green just absolutely pulled those out of his backside. He looks like a player as well.
That's some great goals. He's had a good season, Tom Green. He was, threatening to take the game away there, but...
Yeah, but then, how about this guy? My man, we like to call steak knives. Will Brodie, who, like, we conceptualise it like he was just thrown in the deal, but he wasn't. They were like, here, have this dude. We don't want him, plus we'll give you a pick. That's how much we don't want him. And he's just like, you know what? I'm going to prove you what's going on, Gold Coast. He was awesome, mate. He's such a bull at the contest. He is a hard, aggressive, blue-collar Fremantle Dockers player.
So what was the stat line? 37 disposals, 6 clearances, 5 tackles, 4 marks. Will Brodie was in a little bit of everything, wasn't he?
Oh, mate, it's awesome. And he's a good-looking rooster.
Yep.
Like, it's another one where, I mean, we don't want to roast the Gold Coast, but it's like, cheers. Like, thank you. They gave us pick 2 for Weller. We're like, cheers, thank you, Andy Brayshaw. He's an absolute gun. And then they're like, have this guy, plus give you a pick, Matty Johnson, who, once he gets back from his foot, I think is going to be a great player as well.
It was interesting watching Andy's game tonight as well. Obviously, Lockie Ash seemed to have that run with roll. Even when the Giants had the footy, it seemed like Lockie's eyeballs were straight on Andy, watching him and his movements. But I guess it's a credit to the way Andy's game's developed. He's going to have to get used to essentially that tag. But he and then that goal at the end in the last
the snap there.
Yeah.
And like, you know, it's a credit to Andy and how he is at the moment. Now he's coming, I think, equal second in the coaches' votes at the end of last week. He's getting the tag now. They're going, hey, this is the big dog. This is the guy you got to shut down. And I thought as well, like the work of Mundy and Aish and Brodie to help with that tag. Yeah. Do you know, to get in there? Have to say as well, sorry, going back to Tom Green, the accidental punch on Chappie that sparked a little bit of like a celebration punch, and he's like, whoa, sorry, and then it's like...
All started from a bit of an accident.
Yeah, classic. 2 young blokes who probably, you know, in this day and age, there's no argy-bargy or anything like that. Everyone knows each other, so complete accident turns into like, hey, mate, what did you do?
Another example of Chappie's hard work in the contest, in a celebration as well, but... I also wanted to touch on Blake Acres. He's strung together a couple of good performances. He was in that conversation for the Glendenning Allen medal last week. Again, he kicked I think our first goal today, and he's really using his body and his size in the contest there.
Yeah, and I mean, Acres, again, another steak knives guy where you've seen him, he's gone in with the Brad Hill deal. So for him to really, really work hard, and, you know, realistically, I think Acres' first couple of rounds, people were a little bit like, oh, bloody Acres, here we go again. But he's bounced back, and he's shown that he's got that worth there on the wing. Couple of mistakes here and there, but that first quarter in particular where they just wanted to sag off. Ward just wanted to sag off and be the extra down back, and Acres is just stand. The amount of times I saw Acres stand on the wing waving his arms like, kick it over this way, guys. So, mate, he was fantastic. Trav Collier, mate, thought he played his best game for the club nearly. His work rate and his marking ability, and the fact that he was, a lot of the times, he was actually the get out of jail kick where we're like, oh crap, we've got to kick it to someone, and he's gunning it down that flank and taking those marks. And my man Freddie, and I'm wearing the Feed Freddie shirt, get it on Redbubble, but my man Michael Frederic, mate, he is so good and he's so quick. sometimes I think his legs go too quick for his body.
Yeah.
Like that's how quick he is. But that goal at the end and doing the gritty,
And
I
the
didn't
gritty
mind
celebration.
that.
Joined his brother from a couple of weeks back, I think. At Port, he did it.
Yeah. It was last week in the showdown.
And I'm pretty sure Bailey Banfield put in his Instagram story yesterday that he'd pledged some money to Starlight if Freddie pulled out the gritty. So hope Bailey puts his money where his mouth is there, but it was good to see.
And I think that elite speed, you've got to have something elite about you as a team. And I think our forward line, look, we know we've got our goal kicking troubles, and we've seen in the past that there's been that pressure with Ballas and things like that, going back a few years. But now we're stepping up that pressure, that defensive forward line pressure. Switter, Schultzy, Freddie, Collier. All of them getting in there, getting their hands dirty, getting some tackles, and really just like causing a lot of panic. Then there's a turnover, and then we go from there. The
pressure, the tackling, particularly in that first quarter, I noticed it. I think we had 17 tackles up until quarter time. 4 of those were to Lachie Schultz. He really led the way. He sparked that last quarter as well. He just attacked the ball like a bull, got the dish out to Collier, and Collier streamed into goal. Yeah. Schultz's forward pressure, very noticeable today.
So we ended up only with nine tackles inside 50 to 12, but I thought our pressure around the ball carrier was elite. And when you're going into a game and you're looking at you're reading the record before the game and you're looking at the players they've got, but what to a man is that if you put pressure on someone in footy, it's hard.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if you're playing AFL or you're playing 8Ds down at TC, mate. Pressure on the ball carrier, pressure in footy makes anything hard. Just like anything in life, bit of pressure makes things a little bit harder. Mate, I've spoken about Logan Cox. Mate, Cox is... I had a little sniff. I reckon he's going to be a little sniff for a top 5 fairest and best, mate.
Okay, I like this call.
His marking and his intercept was elite today, and his positioning, and he just doesn't drop a mark. Like when he's in a contest, it's always either him marking it or the ball coming to ground because he's put in the big fist.
Yeah, I watched an intra-club game earlier in the pre-season, and I was writing a little match report for the Freo website. Brendan Cox marked everything in his direction, not even in his direction. He just found a way to get his mitts on the footy, and I thought if that's a sign of things to come, and he really came to play tonight. And combined with Logue, as you said, Griff had a really strong finish. And yeah, those two look really strong down there.
Yeah, and then that little 5-minute period where we turned the screws on GWS, I thought as well, and shout out to our man Oz who's not here tonight, but Rory Lobb had a great game. In that little 5-minute period, he really didn't do much for majority of the game, but then when the game was on the line and was ready to be turned, he had 4 or 5 key moments, and that was really, really outstanding. And I thought just that little bit there, because you could see that Darcy, the big Hodor, the big onions, he was probably one game short. I think next week he'll be better for the run, but he was you could see he's just a little bit rusty still. He's had a little bit of that interrupted preseason. You can see the big fella's a bit rusty, and big fellas generally have more rust on them than little fellas, mate. So he needed to work into it a bit more, but Lob was crucial in that little 5-minute period. For a lot of the game, he was like Taylor played really well on him. But that 5-minute period where he went into the ruck against Riccardi, he really turned it on, and that was like, oh, all right, here we go. Like, that's when we won the game in that little period.
Love you, Oz. Come back soon. Hopefully you'll be joining Duck on the Purple Rain on Monday. One person I wanted to mention, can we touch on Neil Erasmus's game? It's his second game of AFL footy. Looks really clean in the contest, head over the ball, clean hands. Started in a handful of centre bounces. I know that we are lacking Caleb Sarong in there, Nat Fyfe, and David Mundy in and out at times, but Neil, to have a bit more time in the CBD, it's a great sign of confidence from the coaches, and I thought he played quite well tonight.
Yeah, he's a hard nut, and he's got clean skills, a couple of turnovers here and there, but that's been a young fella.
Correct.
But again, you look at him and you go, that's an AFL player. You don't look at him and go, oh, well, he's got to grow and do this and do that and da-da-da-da. You just look at him and you go, you know what, his baseline is good, and he's just going to go up. Like, it's like, he's good, and the only way is up.
He's up.
Like, the only way is up. Only way is up for Neil. He looks really good, mate. And love having a guy called Neil in the team as well.
There's not many Neils running around the AFL. Signed a contract in the week as well. Who else? Matty Johnson, Brandon Walker. I saw a tweet tonight. someone saying Brandon Walker reminds me of Roger Hayden mopping up in defence. But yeah, Walksy, what do you make of his game
I
today?
got caught holding the ball a few times, but I love Brandon Walker. Like the Don he's dead set my favourite player.
Yep.
He's ridiculously good looking. He does a couple of little things where you just like, oh my lord, that's great. But I really love the cut of his jib, mate. Mate, but look, just repeating, obviously the Dockers had a really great win, 13-10-88 to 8-6-54, kicking 6 goals straight in the last quarter, raising 448,699. So a couple of 6s and 9s in there, mate, as we like to have, raising the money there. And hopefully, next year we're tipping over half. And if we kick straight, we would have been over $500,000, mate, $500,000, which is an absolute treat for PMH.
Good aim for next year, I reckon.
PMH, Perth Children's Hospital, mate. Sorry. All right, we'll
come back with a player interview, I think.
Yeah.
So we'll catch you soon.
We're here with Will Brodie. Ended up with 37 disposals, 20 contested, 2 goal assists, 6 clearances. Outstanding game for the man we like to call the steak knives. Will, how do you feel, mate, playing tonight?
How we going, lads? Thanks for having me. Yeah, no, it was a lot of fun out there. The Purple Army was out in force, and the boys showed up to play, and we got it done. It was great fun.
It was a fast finish in that last quarter, a frustrating game at times in those first 3 quarters. How do you summarise sort of the way we tied that one off, and perhaps maybe the focus is from JG, the coaching group, throughout the match?
Yeah, we knew they were going to come. Obviously, they pride themselves on their pressure in their contest, so I feel like we just absorbed it really well, and we just stuck to our system and got to work. And the boys just stuck at it. We kept going for our kicks, taking the game on, and then we got the rewards. So JG and the boys stepped up with JL being out. So everyone's really happy with how we went.
Fantastic. And how did you feel personally playing, mate? According to the AFL ranking stats, it was your career best game, mate. Talk us through that.
Oh, look, it was just good fun to obviously get lots of opportunity, but also step up. We had a few big soldiers out today in Sebo and Fifey and that. So I feel like all the boys stepped up and filled the void. And we just got it done, and we worked together really well as a midfield unit. I think we should be take a lot of confidence out of that.
We've spoken about a number of players on this podcast before you jumped on. You've probably got the best seat in the house out there. Which one of your teammates do you just love watching go about it? Who's sort of your favourite, just watching them crack in each and every week?
Oh, look, Andy's a star. He gets a lot of respect from opposition, and that's what he deserves because he's a bloody good player. So I think playing with Schnee is a real pleasure, and he gets a lot of respect and they put a lot of time into him, but he keeps showing up and he keeps fighting through it, and he frees some of us others to go to sort of get a bit of space and go at the ball. So I love playing with Andy. He's an absolute pro.
Wiz, your first Starlight game. We loved the little Lakers kit, the purple and the yellow. What did you make of, I guess, the Starlight week? The money raised, it's about $448,000 raised for Starlight tonight. And in those Guernseys, what did you make of it all?
Yeah, I thought it was incredible. I think the Purple Army is pretty powerful when they put their mind to something, and I feel like we really should be proud of what we were able to achieve tonight. Off the field as well, with obviously what we raised and the turnout, the fundraiser and all the work that was put in by so many people. So I think it's extremely, extremely awesome stuff.
Fantastic, Will. And once again, fantastic game, mate. We like to finish the interview with one little quick question, mate. Who's the weirdest guy at the club?
Weirdest at the club? I'd probably have to say Lockie Schultz. His nickname is Shooter.
Jeez.
Shooter. Look, he's a different cat, and we all love him. That's why.
Mate, this is the biggest turn up this year. So last year we interviewed, I reckon, about 10 players?
Yep.
And within about 3 seconds, every single one of them said Tabs. But this year we've had Driz and we've had Lockie Schultz. So there's some weird units going around the club. I like to hear that.
I think that's great. I think that's good culture.
That's it.
I know we like to finish on the weirdest unit, but I just want to ask Michael Frederick's gritty tonight. Thoughts, feelings?
Oh, I loved it. I hope you guys loved it. I hope the fans loved it because, it's a bit of fun. It's a bit of excitement. I thought it was great.
I was a
Good
big
on him.
fan as well. Will Brodie, I was a big fan of you too. We certainly were. Great game today. I know you're about to jump in your car and head home for a well-deserved rest. Thank you for jumping on the pod.
Perfect. No worries. Thanks, boys. Thanks for having me.
Thanks, Will. All right, well, that wraps up the Starlight game for this year, mate. Can't wait for it next year. Side note, Starlight being played as the song.
Do you like it?
That is a banger, mate.
Yes.
That is a you put that on at a wedding, the dance floor is heaving. That's what type of song it is, mate.
3/4 time Purple Hat, Sophie Tucker, also a big fan.
Yeah.
I also noticed Kevin Parker on the big screen today. I think he was here jamming out to his own track.
Oh, really?
Which was nice.
The Tame song, mate, gets me up and about so hard. And the fact, Saturday night, mate, lights shone, like flashing.
Yeah.
I was like, this is like, I'm ready to run through a brick wall.
We love the Saturday time slot.
Mate, Saturday night time slot. Come on,
Give it to
AFL.
us.
Get around it. All right, guys, on that note, we'll wrap it up there. Fantastic win by the Dockers. A little bit of an arm wrestle for the first 3 quarters, mainly because we couldn't kick straight. But then the straight kicking for the Starlight Foundation, as I like to call it, in the last quarter. 6 straight, mate. What a difference straight goal kicking. The most underrated stat in the game. Thank you, Bretto, for filling in for Oz this week. Oz, we'll be back in 2 weeks for... Who are we playing in 2 weeks?
Carlton.
Saturday night again.
Carlton here. Off to Essendon next week. Carlton the week after.
Grudge match against Carlton.
Yeah.
The
Adam
Chair
Cherrer's
Revenge
return.
game. Oof.
So much to look forward to. It's going to be a ripper.
All right. Make sure you're here, guys. Saturday night. This is the best place to be in town, especially on a Saturday night. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Remember, subscribe, rate, and review. Do all those kinds of things. We are at the Purple Rain 95 on all our social media.
I'm at Freo Dockers,
Yeah.
which you're probably following already.
Probably.
See you next time.
See you guys.